Picture yourself in the interview, confidently answering every question and impressing your potential employer. Welcome to our video on Power BI interview questions. If you're preparing for a Power BI role, this video will cover the key questions and concepts you're likely to encounter. Whether you're a beginner or looking to brush up for your skills, this video will help you tackle interview questions confidently. Let's dive into the most common Power BI interview questions and how to answer them effectively. Now let's see the agenda for today's video. First, we will look at the top 10 questions for freshers. Then, we will look at the top 10 questions for intermediate level as well. Then, lastly, we will also look at the Power BI interview questions for advanced level. Make sure to like, share and subscribe. Do not forget to hit the bell icon to stay updated on the latest tech content from Edureka's YouTube channel. Also check out Edureka's Microsoft Power BI certification training by PwC Academy, the link to which is given in the description box below. Now let's move on to the first question. What is Power BI? Microsoft developed Power BI, a business analytics tool that transforms multiple unrelated data sources into valuable and interactive insights. It allows users to connect to various data sources, transform and manipulate data, create interactive reports and dashboards, and also share insights with others. Organizations use Power BI extensively to analyze data and to make data-driven decisions. Now let's see the second question. Why should we use Power BI? Because Power BI makes it simple for everyone, including non-technical people, to connect, change, and visualize raw business data from various sources, transforming it into valuable data that enables them to make informed business decisions. Moving on to the third question. What is the difference between Power BI and Tableau? Some key differences between Power BI and Tableau are: Power BI uses DAX for calculating measures, but Tableau uses MDX for measures and dimensions. Then, Power BI is qualified only to handle a limited amount of data. Tableau is capable of handling large volumes of data. Power BI is suitable for both experts and beginners as well, but Tableau is best suitable for experts. Power BI user interface is comparatively simpler, but Tableau user interface is complicated. Lastly, Power BI finds it difficult as its capacity to handle large volumes of data is limited, whereas in Tableau, it's capable of supporting the cloud with ease. Now let's see the fourth question. Power BI can connect to which data sources? The data sources is the point from which the data has been retrieved. It can be anything like files in various formats: .xlsx, .csv, .pbix, .xml, .txt, etc. And the databases are SQL Database, SQL Data Warehouse, Spark on Azure HD Insight, or form content packets like Google Analytics or Twilio. Moving on to our fifth question. What is Power BI Desktop? Power BI Desktop enables users to easily connect to, transform and visualize their data. Power BI Desktop allows users to create visuals and collections of visuals that can then be shared as reports with colleagues or clients within your organization. The sixth question is, what are the available views? First, we have the report view. The report view displays the tables in an interactive format to simplify data analysis. You can create n number of reports, provide visualizations, merge them, or apply any such functionality. Then comes the table view. The table view in Power BI displays data in rows and columns, allowing sorting, filtering, conditional formatting, and also detailed analysis. In model view, users can manage relationships between complex datasets. DAX in Power BI is a query language used for custom calculations. It also creates measures, calculated columns, and supports time-based functions, allowing dynamic data analysis and transformations. Let's see the seventh question. What is a Power Pivot? Power Pivot enables you to import millions of rows from heterogeneous sources of data into a single Excel sheet. It lets you create relationships between the various tables, create columns, calculate using formulas, and also create pivot charts and pivot tables. Let's see the eighth question. What is Power Query? Power Query is a business intelligence tool designed by Microsoft for Excel. Power Query allows you to import data from various data sources and will enable you to clean, transform, and reshape your data as per the requirements. Power Query allows you to write your query once and then run it with a simple refresh. Now let's see the ninth question. What is DAX? DAX stands for Data Analysis Expressions. It's a collection of functions, operators, and constants used in formulas to calculate and return values. In other words, it helps you to create new info from data you already have. Now we are up to the last question for the basic level. The 10th question is, what are some advantages of Power BI? Some of the benefits by using Power BI are, it facilitates the creation of interactive data visualization in data centers. It enables users to convert data into visuals and share them with others. It connects Excel queries and dashboards for faster analysis. Lastly, it offers quick and accurate solutions. I hope you have an idea of the basic level questions asked in the Power BI interview. Now, let's move on to the intermediate level questions. So the 11th question here is, explain the difference between a measure and a calculated column. In Power BI, measures and calculated columns both use DAX but serve different purposes. Now let's see about calculated column. A calculated column is a static column added to a table with values calculated row by row during data load or refresh. It's useful for creating additional fields within a dataset, like characterizing data or performing row-level calculations. Now let's see measure. A measure is a dynamic calculation performed on data in real time, often based on filters or user interactions in the report. It calculates the results only when needed, optimizing performance. Measures are typically used for aggregations like sums, averages, or ratios. Now let me tell you the difference between measure and a calculated column. So, we have opened the Power BI desktop homepage here. So towards the right hand side, you can see the data that I've already loaded. So this is the file of data that I've already loaded. So on the left hand side, you can see table view. Let's click on it. So these are the columns and the values below it. Now let's create a new column. For that, click on new column. Here you can see that my column is created. Now let's change the name for the column as calculated column. Now let's calculate the sum. For the quantity, let's click commit. Now you can see that I have created the calculated column by summing up the quantity. Now let me show you how to create a measure. So click on new measure. Now let me give a title for the measure. So I will be giving it as calculated measure. So let's sum the sales amount and click on commit. As you can see that the calculated measure column is not visible, let's go to the report view on the left hand side. Here under data, we can see that the calculated column and the calculated measure column is created here. Now let's create a graph. Let's select a clustered column chart and give the values for it. Let's drag and drop for the title for the graph, that is the product name. Let's drag and drop the calculated column. Similarly, let's also drag and drop the calculated measure. Now you can see that the graph is created for the calculated column and the calculated measure. So this is the difference between the measure and a calculated column. Moving on to the next question. What is a dashboard? A dashboard is like a single page canvas on which you have various elements to create and visualize reports created by analyzing data. It provides a quick overview of relevant information, allowing users to monitor performance, track progress, and make data-driven decisions at a glance. Dashboards can integrate data from various sources and are often customizable to meet specific business needs. Let's see the 13th question. What are the building blocks of Power BI? The major building blocks of Power BI are, first we have the data sets. A data set is a collection of data gathered from various sources like SQL Server, Azure, Text, Oracle, XML, JSON, and many more. With the Get Data feature in Power BI, we can easily fetch data from any data source. Then we have the visualization. Visualization is the visual aesthetic representation of data in the form of maps, charts, and tables. Reports. Reports are a structured representation of data sets that consist of multiple pages. Reports help to extract important information and insights from data sets to make major business decisions. Last, we have the dashboard. A dashboard is a single page representation of reports made of various data sets. Each element is termed a tile. What are various Power BI versions? First is the Power BI desktop. a free interactive tool that connects multiple data sources, transforms data, and creates visualized reports. Next, we have the Power BI Premium. A premium version is used for larger organizations with a dedicated storage capacity for each user. With Premium, data sets up to 50 GB storage capacity can be hosted along with 100 TB storage on the cloud as a whole. Next, we have the Power BI Pro. With the Pro version, you get full access to Power BI dashboard, creation of reports, along with unlimited sharing and viewing of reports. Let's move to the next question. What do you mean by content pack? A content pack in Power BI is a collection of pre-built, ready-to-use data connections, reports and dashboards created by Microsoft or third-party providers. This allows users to quickly connect to specific data sources and gain insights without building reports from scratch. Content packs are commonly used for popular services like Google Analytics, Salesforce, and Microsoft Dynamics. Let's move to the 16th question. Name some commonly used tasks in Query Editor. Connect to data, shape and combine data, group rows, pivot columns, create custom columns. Last is the query formulas. Let's see the 17th question as well. What are the different Power BI formats? The following are the various formats available in Power BI. First is the Power BI Desktop. You can download and install Power BI Desktop with the help of templates. You can connect it to data source, manipulate the data, and then analyze and visualize it. Then we have the Power BI Services. Power BI Services is a cloud-based or service as a platform. Last we have is the Power BI Mobile app. The Power BI Mobile app is accessible on iOS, Android, and Windows devices. Moving on to the 18th question. What are filters in Power BI? The term filter is self-explanatory. Filters are mathematical and logical conditions applied to data to filter out essential information in rows and columns. The following are the variety of filters available in Power BI. First we have the manual filters, then auto filters, include and exclude filters. We also have drill down filters, cross drill filters, and drill through filters. Let's see the 19th question. Where is data stored in Power BI? Primarily, Power BI has two sources to store data. Azure Blob Storage, where users upload the data, it gets stored here. Azure SQL Database. All the metadata and system artifacts are stored here. They are stored as either fact tables or dimensional tables. Now let's move to the last question of the intermediate level. What do you mean by group? In Power BI and data processing in general, group by is an operation that allows you to summarize data by grouping rows based on one or more columns. This is often used to calculate aggregated values like sum, average, count, or maximum minimum values for each group. Now let me show you how to group. So for that, let's go to Transform Data, click on Transform Data. Here we have the Power Query Editor opening. On the top you can see Group By, just click on Group By. You can see the Group By window opening on the screen. We have two, that is Basic and Advanced. So first let's do the Basic. So let's add the column. I'll be adding it as Product ID itself. Let's give the name for the column as Text. Let's perform the operation as Average. So let's choose the operation column. So that will be Quantity. Now let's perform the same for Advanced. In Advanced, we have an option for adding the columns for grouping. So first, as we have given it as Product ID itself. Second, I will be giving it as Sales Amount. Let's keep the column name same itself. And the operation is also same. And even the column name. So now let's click on OK to see the performance. So now here we can see that we have grouped the Product ID and the Sales Amount. So this is the average of the Product ID and the Sales Amount given in this column Text. Now let's move on to the advanced questions. Let's see the 21st question. What are some common mistakes that lead to slow report load times? And how do you avoid them? Some common mistakes that lead to slow Power BI report load times include: first, we have the overloading with unnecessary data. Importing large data sets with unnecessary columns or rows slows down the report performance. To avoid this, use Power Query to filter out irrelevant data or only load what's necessary for your analysis. Next we have is the inefficient DAX calculation. Complex or poorly optimized DAX formulas like nested if statements or heavy reliance on measures can slow down performance. Last is the excessive visuals and interactions. Adding too many visuals, particularly complex ones, that is maps, line charts with large data points, can increase load time. Simplify reports by reducing the number of visuals per page. Minimizing the cross-filtering. By focusing on efficient data loading, optimizing DAX, and minimizing visual complexity, you can significantly improve report load times and create a more responsive Power BI experience. Let's see the 22nd question. What are the various types of users who can use Power BI? First are the business users. Business users are those who constantly monitor reports in order to make critical business decisions based on insights. Then is the business analysts, who are responsible for creating dashboards, reports, and visual representations of data in order to properly study the data set. Data analysis requires an analytical eye to detect important trends in reports. Developers are involved in the creation of custom visuals for Power BI, as well as the integration of Power BI with other applications. Professionals use Power BI to access the scalability, security, and availability of data. Moving on to the 23rd question. What do we understand by Power BI services? Power BI provides services to its cloud-based business analytics. With these services, you can view and share reports through the Power BI website. Power BI is a web-based service for sharing reports. Power BI service can be best referred to as powerbi.com, Power BI Workspace, Power BI Site, or Power BI Portal. Moving on to the 24th question. What are the types of visualizations in Power BI? Visualizations is a graphical representation of data. We can use visuals to create reports and dashboards. The kinds of visualizations available in Power BI are bar charts, column charts, line chart, area chart, stacked area chart, and so on. Let's see the 25th question. What are KPIs in Power BI? KPIs is abbreviated as Key Performance Indicator. Any professional organization has teams and employees follow the KPI protocols. The organization set up KPIs for all the employees. These KPIs act as their targets. These KPIs are compared to previous performance and analyze the progress. Let's see the 26th question. What is the comprehensive working system of Power BI? Power BI's working system mainly comprises 3 steps. First is the data integration. The first step is to extract and integrate the data from the heterogeneous data sources. After integration, the data is converted into a standard format and stored in a common area called the staging area. Then we have the data processing. Once the data is assembled and integrated, it requires some cleaning up. Raw data is not so useful therefore. A few transformation and cleaning operations are performed on the data to remove redundant values, etc. After the data is transformed, it is stored in data warehouses. Last, we have the data presentation. Now that the data is transformed and cleaned, it is visually represented on the Power BI desktop as reports, dashboards, or scorecards. These reports can be shared through mobile apps or web to various business users. Let's see the 27th question now. What are custom visuals in Power BI? Using Power BI visualizations, you can apply customized visualizations like charts, KPIs, etc. from the rich library of Power BI's custom visuals. It refrains the developers from creating it from scratch using jQuery or JavaScript SDK. Once a custom visual is ready, it is tested thoroughly. Post-testing, they are packed in .pbi.viz file format and shared within the organization. Types of visuals available in Power BI are custom visual files, organization files, and marketplace files. Then we have the 28th question. What are the major components of Power BI? First is the Power Query for data mashup and transformation. You can use this to extract data from various databases like SQL Server, MySQL, and many others, and to delete a chunk of data from various sources. And then we have the Power Pivot for tabular data modeling. It is a data modeling engine that uses a functional language called Data Analysis Expression, that is DAX, to perform the calculations. Also creates a relationship between various tables to be viewed as pivot tables. Then is a Power View for reviewing data visualizations. The view provides an interactive display of various data sources to extract metadata for proper data analysis. Power BI Desktop, a companion development tool. Power Desktop is an aggregated tool of Power Query, Power View, and Power Pivot. Create advanced queries, models, and reports using desktop tool. Power BI Mobile for Android, iOS, Windows phones. It gives an interactive display of the dashboards from the site onto these OS effortlessly. Then we have the Power Map, 3D geospatial data visualization. Last is the Power Q&A for natural language Q&A. Now let's see the 29th question. What are the three fundamental concepts of DAX? Three fundamental concepts of DAX are: first is syntax. Syntax refers to the rules that define how the code is structured, including the functions to be used. Syntax errors will result to an error message. Then is functions. Functions refers to instructions performed in a specific sequence to achieve a specific result. Last is the context. There are two types of context in formulas: row context and filter context. Row context is applied when a formula uses a function that filters a table to identify a specific row. Filter context is applied when one or more filters are used to obtain a certain value. Here we have the last question for the advanced level. What is a slicer? Slicer is an integral part of a business report generated using Power BI. The functionality of a slicer can be considered similar to that of filter. But unlike a filter, a slicer can display a visual representation of all values, and users will be provided with the option to select from the available values in the slicer's drop-down menu. To hire the best talent, you must ask the right Power BI interview questions. It can be difficult to find the right answer, which is why we have compiled these list of 30 Power BI questions structured by experience level. With that, we have come to an end of this Power BI interview questions and answers video. If you have enjoyed it, please be kind enough to like it. You can comment on any doubts and queries. We will reply to them as soon as possible. Do look up for more videos and playlists and subscribe to Edureka's YouTube channel to learn more. Thank you for watching and happy learning.